Hi, welcome to CinePunked, interactive discussions for film lovers. My name's Interactive Discussions for Film Lovers. My name's Robert J. Simpson, I'm your humble host, and I am joined by Dr. Rachael Kelly.
Hello.
And our producer is Ben Simpson.
Good day.
So some of you may have heard of us already. We have been doing a number of live events across Belfast and surroundings for the last couple of years. We've decided to open it up and to issue a range of podcasts, which we're going to be doing fairly regularly over the next year at least. Some of those are going to be recordings from our live events that we've done before, and a lot of it's going to be new discussions, mostly about classic films. And we thought as a way of introduction, it might actually be useful for you to understand what it is that CinePunked is about, because let's be honest, when you come to something new, you do have that question, like, why should I sit and listen to this? So, Rachael.
Well, CinePunked is about making film theory fun. I'm slightly biased in that I think film theory is enormous fun, but I understand that I'm slightly unusual in that respect. And what I find from studying film is just how much it enriches the experience of going to the cinema. Also kind of leaves you open to friends refusing to go and see films with you anymore, which friends and family won't go and see certain films with me because they just know that I'm going to analyse the hell out of them, and that's not going to make it enjoyable for them. However, impress all your friends and family with hints and tips about film theory with CinePunked podcasts.
I mean, it is a problem. Both you and I studied film at university, so we're slightly skewed and biased towards this. But there is that element where sometimes I find now I go and watch a film and sometimes I struggle to just sit back and watch it as a piece of entertainment.
Oh yeah, I think absolutely. Once you know how to do this, it just becomes addictive and it becomes impossible not to do it. And I think that is the real joy of film theory. I mean, when you think about the spread and the reach that film has as a medium, and when you think about how many people go to the cinema every week and how pervasive it is in people's lives, when you actually sort of break that down and look at what film can do and how film can shape the way you look at the world, that's when I think it becomes really important actually that people understand what's going on behind the camera, whether or not there's a deliberate attempt to put a certain spin on an event. I mean, we're both sort of film historians, you and I, so we both kind of chew our nails and get very upset about the damage done to history by historical film a lot of the time. But I mean, I think that kind of misses the point a little bit because it's getting people to engage with history. What I think is really important is that people understand the terms in which they're engaging with history. And I think that's where CinePunked can come in, just sort of say, well, actually, had you any idea that when the film went down this particular route, it was probably reflecting something that was going on at the time of production rather than the historical period that the film is trying to look at. And you can do that with just about any film at all. It's once you understand what's going on with the film text, I think it opens up such an interesting world to explore.
Now, that's not to say, of course, that we're going to be stuck every week in deep discussion about film history and the nuts and bolts about how a film came to be produced. I mean, actually, what we are quite interested in is this idea that film is something that absolutely everybody probably accesses on the planet. Everyone goes in and everyone thinks they know film, which is also one of the reasons why when you tell someone that you studied film at university, they go, catch yourself on, because everyone watches films and everyone can have a conversation about them. But what we want to do is to kind of explore that, maybe approach it with a little bit more scholarly and intellectual approach. But actually, we're interested from a kind of film studies point of view of actually making this accessible. There's always a danger that, people look at people with degrees and say that, you're on another planet, but actually a lot of this conversation is stuff that anyone can have. And so what we find is I think from doing our live events, we can have our conversation with ourselves, and we also open up to audiences. So one of the things hopefully you guys will do as you get sucked into our journey with us over the next however long you stay, you'll kind of contact us. We've got a website, we've got Facebook, we'll probably have a Twitter up and running before you get to listen to this, all sorts of other things. So if you look for us at cinepunked.com, also on facebook.com/cinepunked. Just Google CinePunked anywhere. There's no one else like us. And add to that conversation. Give us feedback on the stuff that you want to talk about. Talk about the things that you've enjoyed or not enjoyed about our podcasts. And remember that we are not stuck up our own asses either. That's why we have people like our producer Ben, who
I'm going to help steer these guys to make sure that they don't confuse anybody.
Yeah, Ben is our ostensible layperson. He's also a technical whiz. He's recorded everything for us so far, but he is not a. You've not got a film background at all.
No, I don't have a film background at all. I am not a critic. I'm not a film historian. I'm just a regular old Joe Blogs that knows how to record things.
Which is a surprise because, in all honesty, I mean, Ben is also my brother. He suffers from this. So you must have been subjected at some point to some of my crud over the years.
Yeah, I suppose I have. Oh God. But anyway, I'm going to help try and keep things simplified and fun for everybody else listening.
Because our idea of fun might not be necessarily everybody else's idea of fun.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on that. So whilst these are kind of the core voices that you'll be hearing, you will hear a range of other contributors as well. Nearly every week, every edition of this, we will have one of our regular collaborators or a guest voice as well, who will be adding their particular expertise and learned scholarship. and also fandom. I think that's one of the things that for me is really important, is actually that sense that we're not just film critics and
yeah, absolutely,
we love
we're
cinema.
film fans, yeah. And I mean, we really love some films, and there's some films we really hate, and I think we don't always agree on what those. There's not always a lot of overlap between Robert and I on what those films are. So what you could actually be listening in for is the point at which this all descends into sort of retribution and argument every week. That could be fun.
You're suggesting our friendship is on the line here?
I'm not suggesting that. I'm just suggesting it might be an opportunity for people to have nice bets or drinking games while they listen along.
That's an excellent idea. Yeah. I think I might contribute to that one. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things to remember. I mean, film... It's a serious subject at times, and there's lots of stuff that can be learned. It's no different from studying English at school, really. And I'm glad to see nowadays it is on the curriculum in Northern Ireland, amongst other places, because that's where we're based. In case you hadn't picked up on our lovely accents, we are based primarily in the Belfast region.
Sexiest accent in the world, apparently.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
And we are, in fact, recording this particular edition from Hollywood.
Of course we are, yeah.
The wrong Hollywood, but...
No, the right Hollywood, I think you'll find.
It's not Hollywood.
Now, do we want to go down this particular rabbit hole? Because I can talk about this too. There's no limit to the stuff in which I can bore people.
Do you know, the only time I ever heard it referred to as Hollywood was watching The Big Breakfast many, many years ago when they were doing one of their, the things where they went in amongst the communities and the coast came to Hollywood. I remember them pronouncing it as Hollywood. I thought, that is how it's spelt.
Well, you should, in fact, put it into a sat-nav, because the sat-nav gets really confused by it, and the sat-nav will only call it Hollywood.
Yeah.
It is because there was a wood here that was holy. Been a Christian settlement here for about 1,000 years.
You learn something new every day.
There you go.
So there's a very good risk that while you're listening to these podcasts, we will have these occasional diversions in the podcast version. In our live events, we try and digress a lot less. But then, give us some feedback and we will try and steer our conversations towards your listening pleasure. So that's us as a sort of introduction. I hope you will click on, find our little links, check out the first of our podcasts and everything else. And we hope you'll join in the conversation. So don't forget, it's www.cinepunked.com, and we look forward to chatting to you soon.